Now, after NIO reported just over 19,300 for the month of July, a question that is on investors' mind is how many vehicles or how many numbers did NIO produce or deliver per model. Now, on today's video, ladies and gents, we just got that report, and ladies and gents, the results are quite surprising. I mean, so you will know that the plan or NIO's target for the ES6 is to deliver an average or roughly around 10,000 on a month to month, which for the month of August, ladies and gents, NIO for their ES6 model, ladies and gents, they saw 8,600 or just over 8,600 models sold of the ES6, which is over 90% year over year increase. Now, you will know that some of the people might be asking, why am I saying year over year increases? Well, it is because this time last year NIO was still selling, of course, the NT 1.0 ES6. So a year ago, they sold roughly over 4,500, which, of course, looking at the fact that they sold, of course, 8,600 or 8,601 for the month of August, makes it to be 90 or over 90% increase year over year. Now, as I've said, most of you will know that NIO's plan is to deliver, or to see themselves delivering a 10,000 of this ES6 on a month to month, which for the month of July, you already know that they delivered over 11,000, which was good, right? So this 8,600 was a 22 or over 20% drop from the kind of deliveries or sales we saw the ES6 generating, and those are the sales of July. So month to month it was a 22% drop, but year over year it was a 90 or over 90% increase, which is still supposed to be good. So regardless of whether NIO was planning to get 10,000, I think they were still, of course, good deliveries. Now, something that really shocked me or surprised me was the ET5 touring deliveries, because you will notice that, of course, for the month of July, when you look at the ET5 touring, NIO sold over 3,800 ET5 tourings in China. Now, this month, ladies and gents, for the month of August, what we saw is that NIO sold 4,083 ET5 tourings, which was over 11% up from the 3,000 we saw, of course, in July. This is something that is incredible, because what we are seeing right here is NIO delivering good numbers or more of the ET5 touring. So ET5 sort of like performed better in terms of delivery growth when you compare to the ES6, which is something that is good, right? And this is quite surprising, because you'll remember that the primary purpose for that car, or NIO's target for that car, is in Europe and not in China. But what we are seeing that model performing quite well in China, which is something that is quite good, right? To see that, of course, the ET5 touring, it is performing pretty good in China as well. I mean, I cannot await, as I've been saying, the kind of deliveries we'll see the ET5 touring, of course, delivering or generating from the European market, as that is the market that NIO primarily made that car for. So I was very excited about the fact that the ET5 touring deliveries are increasing, though there was a 22 percent decrease from the ES6. This, to me, when I saw this report, it really made me to be excited to say that we could easily see, of course, the ET5 touring being that model that can get very close to the kind of sales that the ES6 generate on a month to month. Now, with the ES6, I still believe that they will still get to over 10,000, because that is a model that is, ladies and gents, expected to do very well, because it is one of the most beautiful mid EV sedans that you can ever find in China. And with NIO, you'll know that what makes it so special is that instead of going the normal route of going to buy other mid SUVs and charge them every time your battery gets depleted, with NIO you get the benefit of swapping the battery in their models in less than 4 minutes, which is something that is quite incredible and something that makes NIO to stand out from the other EV competitors. So I was very excited about, of course, the sales that came with the ET5 touring, though I was a bit I can say disappointed by the, of course, sales generated by the ES6, especially because we know that NIO has been targeting 10,000 on a month to month on that model. But what might be happening, you might find that some of the sales that were expected to go to the ES6 are going to the ET5 touring. It looks like a lot of Chinese consumers are liking the ET5 Touring a lot, which is why we are seeing also the numbers of the model going up like crazy. So I'm very excited nonetheless about the average sales that we saw from NIO models. Now the ET5 itself, ladies and gents, saw total sales of over 2,800, and this was a 23% up or increase from the 2,337 we saw for the month of July. Now, one of the things that I think might have boosted the sales of the ET5 mid sedan is of course the discounts that NIO was offering to those old ET5s that have had 90 days, or that have been of course produced for and ready to for delivery for over 90 days. I think that might have boosted, or that might be something that boosted the deliveries of the ET5. Otherwise, nonetheless, it is still a good car, which, ladies and gents, before the ET5 Touring ES6, this was the model that was generating some good sales, or bringing in some good sales to NIO. So to see it still generating over 2,800, it is something that I think it was quite great, especially to know that it was a 20, or they saw a 20% increase from the kind of sales they generated in July. Now, the model that performed the most when you look into the month-to-month sales was, of course, the ES8. Now, the ES8, ladies and gents, reported over, or saw an increase of over 52%, which was pretty good, right? Because they saw 2,000 or over 2,300. I saw this over 52% increase for the, of course, car like ES8 makes me to be really excited, because this is the car that is supposed to boost, or that usually boost, of course, gross margins, because it is one of the most expensive cars that you can buy from NIO. It will be good to see a continual improvement of this model, because like I said, this is one of the models that is expected, or that usually boost, of course, the gross margins, or bring in some good gross margins into NIO, which now to get to see it's selling this good makes me to wonder, or makes me to start to believe that that double-digit gross margin that NIO plans or is targeting for Q3, it is getting closer. The signs are pointing towards that direction. I'm very excited. Otherwise, there are other vehicles like the ES7, EC7, and the ET7 all sold below 1,000. So there's no need to cover those, because I think those, they're sort of like struggling in terms of sales. But it is good that at least there are 4 vehicles onto NIO that are selling pretty good, and we might see the 5th, of course, model coming and joining or performing good like these 4 models, and that is the upcoming NIO EC6, which NIO will be launching this coming week. That is the model, or one of the models that is expected to sell so well, which is something that to get to see that they are going to not only unveil that model but start with the deliveries of that model, ladies and gents, this month makes me to be really excited, and makes me want to see the kind of sales that this vehicle will generate on a month-to-month. But I personally believe that we could see this car delivering the kind of, or the same of deliveries like the ET5 Touring, which makes me to think about the kind of deliveries that we could see NIO delivering, not only now in September but in Q4, because Q4, you know that NIO's target is to deliver or sell roughly around 30,000 on a month-to-month, which will result into NIO seeing a total Q4 deliveries of around 90,000. So I was very excited. And of course, before I forget, the households, you already know that this video is just an entertainment video and not a professional financial advice video. And I would really appreciate if you can just hit the like button if you are enjoying the content that I'm giving you about NIO as sales or model sales. So when we look to the overall August deliveries that NIO reported of over 19,300. So if you like this video, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, because on this channel NIO is one of the stocks that I talk a lot about, because I believe in their fundamentals and their future prospects, which is why NIO seriously dominates my stock market portfolio. So yes, I'm very excited. I was very excited to say that we are getting to see especially the ET5 Touring and the ES8 sales improving, which is something that is quite good. Though we saw a slight decrease from the, of course, ES6. I don't think it's it's a train smash, but rather I think we're just seeing consumers opting to go for these other models, or models like ET5 Touring and ES8, which is always good because it's not like they are going elsewhere or going outside to buy other models or other vehicles, but it looks like they are going to buy other models within the NIO, of course, vehicles, which is something that is quite good. And to know that the EC6 is also coming, I believe that it will also boost the kind of sales that we see, or that we get to see from NIO. Otherwise, as I've said, this coming week, or this week rather, I'll be closely monitoring of course the official unveiling or the official launch of the EC6, because one of the most important thing during that launch, it will be the price that NIO will put on that model, because the price, you will know that it can either make or break the sales of a model. And I personally believe that NIO is smart enough to strategically place or price a good price tag onto that model, so that it generates some good sales for NIO, which I think they are going to do, which is why they said that the models that are expected to drive serious sales onto NIO is, of course, the ES6, ET5 Touring, and the EC6. So I think they are going to strategically place it, because their target onto those three models, you will know that it is, or it ranges between 15 and 20,000 on a month to month. So NIO's target is to sell at most 20,000, or around 20,000 at most, onto those three vehicles, which is something that makes me to be really excited and makes me wonder the time or date where we will see NIO generating over 20,000 from those three models. Otherwise, I make tons and tons of stock market investing videos, and if you think that this video was amazing, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click that notification bell, so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And before you buy new for the very first time, it is always good that you do your own due diligence, so that at least you can be comfortable as you are investing onto this stock. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.